communicate with my teammates, communicate with the people that I respect and love, that the moment that I step in on this court or in this facility, I wear this jersey, the rest does not matter. I'm locked into whatever I have in front of me. Now if in 6-7 months I change my mind, I think that's human too. You're allowed to make any decision you want, but I'm locked in.
What if I told you Giannis Antetokounmpo isn't bluffing this time? Every interview, every leak, every perfectly timed headline, it's all part of a master plan to break free from Milwaukee. While everyone's focused on the games, Giannis has been playing an entirely different sport, and the Bucks are getting smoked. The NBA rumor mill's burning up, and right in the middle stands the Greek freak himself. But here's what most people don't realize. This isn't random talk. It's a calculated move. It's power play chess, and Giannis is making the front office sweat. Behind the scenes in Milwaukee, the game runs deep. From those suspicious Knicks trade leaks, to his agent feeding stories to reporters, to the cold reality that Giannis might be stuck in a deal he already regrets. So let's rewind to 2020. Back then, Giannis started dropping hints. I want to win. The team needs to get better. Sound familiar? The Bucks panicked, terrified to lose their superstar.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, his agent Alex Saratsas of Octagon, they've been figuring out which teams, if this does get to a point of a trade request, which team could find its way, which multiple teams could find their way.
They gambled big for Drew Holiday, sacrificing picks and young talent for survival. It worked once. They won in 2021. But that trick doesn't fool Giannis anymore. Fast forward to 2025. He's saying he's committed for now, but ready to rethink things in 6 months if the team slips. That's not loyalty. That's a warning shot. Milwaukee's trapped, plain and simple. No draft picks to rebuild, no cap space to retool. They're prisoners of their own panic. The front office built this cage, and now Giannis holds the key. Let's talk about how info turns into a weapon in today's NBA. Enter Shams Charania, ESPN's golden insider, the man with all the sources. According to recent reports, Giannis and his agent, Alex Saratsas, are actively mapping out which teams could land him if he pushes for a mid-season trade. Notice that word, figuring out, not wondering or curious. That's strategy, not speculation. This isn't journalism, it's message delivery.
It takes more than skills to be great. That's what people don't understand. You can be the most skillful person on earth, still don't make the NBA. The NBA is not about skills. When you think about LeBron, you think about consistency.
Behind the curtain, they're doing serious due diligence, and somehow every leak lands perfectly in Shams' lap before blasting out to millions. Why is that so powerful? Because when Shams says Giannis is exploring options, the Bucks front office hears a countdown ticking loud and clear. That's pressure, without Giannis even speaking. Saratsas isn't just an agent, he's a full-blown puppet master. And Shams, he's the megaphone echoing every move. Back in August 2025, Shams reported that the Knicks and Bucks had exclusive trade talks. After Giannis named New York as his dream destination, those trade talks, they were never meant to go anywhere. Here's the twist. Sources say the Bucks and Knicks did talk, but no real deal ever came close. So why leak it? Simple. To stir the market. To tell Milwaukee, hey, there are teams ready to spend big for your superstar.
Now if in 6-7 months I change my mind, I think that's human too. You're allowed to make any decision you want, but I'm locked in.
When reporters like Ian Begley start listing offers with Julius Randle, draft picks, and young talent, it sends two loud messages. First, it shows the Bucks exactly what Giannis could fetch on the open market. Second, it warns every other contender, if you want him, you better start calling now. That's negotiation 101. You don't hint at leaving unless you got somewhere to land.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, his agent Alex Saratsas of Octagon, they've been figuring out which teams, if this does get to a point of a trade request, which team could find its way, which multiple teams could find their way.
Now Milwaukee knows Giannis has options. Remember when they traded for Dame Lillard and fans went crazy? Everyone screamed championship window and best backcourt in the league.
But Giannis is a monster, man. And if you're talking about the New York Knicks getting somebody of that caliber, to me, nobody outside of Jalen Brunson would have been safe for me. personally, because that's how I feel about Giannis.
Yeah, about that. To get Dame, the Bucks gave up Drew Holiday, one of the best perimeter defenders alive, plus more picks and their roster depth. All that just to get bounced by the Pacers in round one.
A Shams report. This was on Tuesday. He reported that the Bucks and Giannis had discussions this summer centered around Giannis's desire to be traded to the Knicks if he and Milwaukee were going to part ways.
The only way the Bucks are going to trade Giannis, period, is if Giannis says, I want to be traded. They're not just going to do it proactively. It's not going to be a Nico Harrison thing. And then it becomes a question for the Knicks. Like, would you trade Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby for Giannis? Is your team better?
The truth hurts. What if Giannis never even wanted Dame? What if the front office forced that move just to keep him happy, trying to prove they're serious about winning? Giannis just played along with the whole thing. Think about it. If you're Giannis and the team trades for a superstar, you can't come out saying, I didn't want him, without becoming the villain. So you smile, say the right things, and play the part. Then when it flops, you simply say, I gave them a chance.
Miles McBride, he's got the most value if you're looking at what the Knicks could or couldn't do on the trade market. He's got very high value. Teams are waiting for the Knicks to really make him available in a serious way, and it hadn't happened as of last week. I don't think it has happened to date here. I mean, I know that key stakeholders in New York, they see him as an important part of what they want to do this year. And you've seen it in the preseason. He's played pretty well. I think the speculation is more so based on his value and what else the Knicks would have to move in order to try to make that room under the second apron for a Landry Shamet and a Malcolm Brogdon. And so I think it was just, I don't want to say baseless speculation. It makes sense, informed speculation, but from the Knick perspective, just based on everything that I had heard, it's not real in terms of what they would like to do or may not do to this.
Now Giannis can point back to the Dame experiment and say, we did it your way. Now it's my turn, or I'm out. Even Stephen A. Smith called him out, saying Giannis pressured the Bucks to make big moves, then disappeared when it mattered most. That Dame trade was supposed to save Milwaukee's title window, but instead, it slammed it shut. Giannis keeps talking about loyalty, wanting to stay in one city like Kobe Bryant or Tim Duncan. Sounds noble, right? Wrong. Those comparisons don't hold up. Kobe had the Lakers, an empire with Jerry West, Phil Jackson, and a front office that always reloaded. Duncan had Greg Popovich and a flawless Spurs system built by R.C. Buford, filled with trust and vision.
When y'all first heard it, what'd y'all think? You got a team that no longer, in my eyes, I think are contending when you lose someone like Dame.
Milwaukee, they've got Doc Rivers, a coach known for playoff collapses, and a front office trapped by its own mistakes. No picks, no flexibility, no plan B. Giannis wants Duncan's loyalty and Kobe's legacy, but without their foundations, it's a fantasy. As Colin Cowherd said perfectly, Giannis isn't on that top leadership tier like Jokic or Curry. He doesn't close out games like they do, so why expect Milwaukee to build a dynasty around someone who still hasn't proven he can be that guy?
The only way that Giannis Antetokounmpo will end up a New York Knick is if he specifically goes to the Milwaukee Bucks and says, I want out and I want to go to New York. The reason I say that is because if he just says I want out and Milwaukee has the license to trade him elsewhere, the assets that they could get for his services are considerably better in other places than they are in New York. New York doesn't have what you would like. Why? Because they gave away 5 first-round picks, 4 unprotected for Mikal Bridges last summer. That's why. So because of that, could you imagine if the New York Knicks had 2 first-round picks? We got 2 first-round picks or 3 first-round picks, plus a Karl Anthony Towns, and maybe Mikal Bridges for Giannis. Could you imagine?
Let's talk about the hypocrisy for a second. Remember when Kevin Durant left OKC for Golden State? Charles Barkley went nuclear, calling him weak, saying he took the easy way out and turning hardest road memes into legend. But now Giannis is openly flirting with leaving Milwaukee, a team that drafted him, developed him, gave him a supermax, and even built a championship around him. And Barkley's quiet. Why? Because Giannis is marketed as the humble, loyal superstar, the small market savior, the anti-super team guy. But if he forces his way to Miami or teams up with Wemby in San Antonio, Will Chuck keep that same energy or suddenly start defending him because it's Giannis? That double standard is wild. It shows how the NBA picks favorites. Some players get praised for chasing rings. Others get roasted for doing the exact same thing.
When you watch Jokic over the last 2 to 3 years, and you watch Wemby last year as a rookie and this year, it makes Giannis look much more incomplete. He doesn't shoot, and so it's all about a physical mismatch and getting to the basket, which he does, but that takes a physical toll on you. All you have to do is go ask Shaq. But Shaq played in a different era where bully ball was good enough. Bully ball can dominate. It doesn't anymore, especially if you don't hit your free throws. You know, the NBA, we always talked about Dwight Howard. You know, he aged really fast. And, you know, the big rebound block shot guy without a lot of post moves, one day it mattered, one day it didn't. You can defend him.
Now here's where it gets spicy. What if Giannis actually joins Victor Wembanyama in San Antonio? The Spurs have everything. A generational prodigy, Popovich's culture, cap space, and a mountain of draft picks. Picture Giannis as Wemby's Shaq or Pippen, a dominant interior beast paired with a 7'4" unicorn who can do it all. Skip Bayless always clowns Giannis for lacking finesse, but with Wemby beside him, those flaws vanish. Wemby stretches the floor, Giannis bulldozes the paint. Wemby closes games, Giannis cleans the glass. It's a dream duo. And if the Spurs dangle young stars like Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, and a few juicy picks, Milwaukee might have to listen. Maybe Giannis was never bluffing. Maybe he really wants to become Wemby's powerhouse partner.
And I don't understand the Durant thing. You know, I hear the Suns are trying to work with him. The Suns don't need to work with him. They need to get the best deal possible. He got 1 year left on his deal. Don't try to make it, his people gonna try to make it perfect for him. Screw that. If I'm the Phoenix Sun, I'm like, you know what? We gonna make the best deal for our team.
What if the Bucks front office already knows he's leaving, but they're keeping quiet to protect ticket sales and dodge a public meltdown? Think about Milwaukee's silence. No blockbuster trades, no desperate moves, no bold, Giannis is untouchable statements. Nothing. Maybe they've already accepted the truth. Maybe they're quietly preparing for life after Giannis. Or maybe they're just cashing in one last season before the rebuild storm hits. Kendrick Perkins said it himself. Giannis wanted it easy and bailed when things got hard. If that's true, the Bucks' silence makes total sense. Why fight for a star who's already mentally checked out?
That move was definitely childish. Giannis said, well, that's something he would do with his kids. Yet that, Giannis, was the point. He wasn't playing around with his kids. He had just thrown a dangerous elbow into Jaylen Brown's face.
And don't forget Miami. PatRiley lost out on Dame Lillard, but you better believe he's plotting something huge right now. Riley doesn't miss twice. If Giannis hits the market, Miami will be all in. They've got Jimmy Butler's expiring deal, young talent like Jaime Jaquez Jr., and the magnetic pull of South Beach waiting. Giannis might finally realize he's not just losing games in Milwaukee, he's losing legacy points, while Dame walks away clean. As Gilbert Arenas said, Giannis's greatness depends on athleticism and effort.
He doesn't understand basketball yet. He plays the sport. He won a championship. Cool. He doesn't really understand how to be great.
But without elite half-court skill, he needs the perfect system. Miami has that. Milwaukee, they're running out of time and answers. So what's really happening here? Is Giannis still loyal or just outsmarting everyone in plain sight? Is Milwaukee clinging to denial or secretly planning his exit? One thing's clear, this isn't chaos, it's calculated pressure. And when that trade deadline hits, don't be shocked if the Greek freak's wearing new colors. What do you think? Is Giannis justified, or is this the ultimate betrayal? Drop your thoughts below. And if you want more wild NBA breakdowns like this, hit subscribe and ring that bell right now.